Hey guys, this video is going to be about controllers, I guess. Just refurb, part swapping, controller cleaning, salvaging, something like that, I guess. Okay, so, yeah, basically I just want to show you guys the steps I take to clean a controller, problems with analog sticks, when they won't return to center. I want to show you guys what I do to try to fix that. Also, I want to show you guys this controller, which is sort of not modded, but just kind of customized. And then probably we're going to go ahead and take this one apart. Originally, my plan for this video was to repair this controller because the last time I used it anyway, this analog stick, when it returned to center, it wouldn't actually return to center. The input was still giving, I forget if it was left or right, but it was sticking, so I couldn't navigate any of the menus or anything. So I wanted to repair it, or give it a shot, but then actually there's another problem, which is, I don't know if we'll be able to see too well, but I have battery corrosion. Oh, come on. There we go. See that, guys? You've seen this before. So, and I'm sure you won't be able to see. Well, maybe you will. Anyhow, there's a little bit inside of the compartment cover, the battery pack cover. So I want to give a go at using some vinegar, maybe some baking soda to try to remove that corrosion. But I figured what we would do is that I could, either way, I'd go through the steps that I would take to work on the analog and take this apart. And the thing is, we won't be able to tell if I'm successful unless we're also successful removing that corrosion. And then, of course, we'll know when we open it up whether there's any damage to the controller from the corrosion. We might be able to tell. So, but anyhow, we'll walk through taking it apart. Of course, this controller isn't very dirty, but we'll still give it a clean anyhow. And I want to show you guys what I use to clean controllers and other stuff. And I started using this very recently, actually. They carry this at Whole Foods Market. I'm not sure where else they have it. I think they might have it at Target and stuff too. But it's a natural all-purpose cleaner. You just dilute this. I put it in a spray bottle, and it doesn't leave any residue at all. You can use it on glass. You can use it on plastics. I've used it to clean up a couple consoles. I use it on the GameCube that I recently acquired, and it cleaned up very nicely. Doesn't leave any weird residue, and it kind of brings the natural shine back to plastics, and it cleans glass really well. So I'll use that for spot cleaning. Like I said, just dilute a little bit in a spray bottle, and there's no ammonia or anything, so I feel really confident using it on any of the plastic parts, like the buttons or anything like that. So that's what I'll use for that. Then, of course, there's a couple of things I don't have here, which is isopropyl alcohol. I mean, a lot of people probably get away with using like 70% or higher. You want to do at least 70 or higher, but 70%, I think you can get some residue left from that. So I've been using the 99% that came with the 1-Up card I bought, and then Q-tips. And not that I'm a beauty care snob or anything, but you got to get real Q-tips, actual name brand Q-tips, because you don't want any fuzz being left behind if you're cleaning your circuit board or anything like that. Paper towels, duh, I'll use that. This is going to be for the Xbox controller. This is a Torx tamper-proof precision bit. Let me go ahead and see if I can't show you guys. So, because there's a hole. I don't know if you can see it. Anyhow, it's like a star bit with a hole. And yeah, I guess they don't want you. They figure you would have at least gone out of your way to get the special bit before you deserve to be able to open their controllers. So the GameCube controller has a tri-wing. And so that's what I use for this controller. But before I start any work on the Xbox One, let me tell you about this controller. So this is a GameStop branded GameCube controller that I got some years back. When I last got it out from whatever box it was in, somehow I had damage to this analog. I don't know if one of my dogs got a hold of it years ago and I just put it away and never noticed, but the pad was missing off of the analog that was here. It's been replaced. And it was chewed up a little bit and it was not returning to center. The stick would return to center, but it was it was stuck right or whatever. So I was trying to play Metroid and it would work a little bit, but then I'd try to just look forward and I would be stuck spinning around. So it didn't work. So what I did, I decided that I was going to replace this analog, and I had a Mad Catz Dreamcast 6-button controller, 6-face button controller that was literally falling apart. I don't know what happened to the plastic, but it was so brittle that at the point I had electrical tape holding it together. So I took that controller apart since I couldn't use it anymore, and I actually I put the Dreamcast analog stick on the switch that was inside here. So that worked out really well. I wish I still had the casing to show you guys because it was a neat controller, but yeah, I threw it away. So yeah, I saved this controller. I also had to go in there, and you guys will see when I open this one up, I cleaned the analog switch with some contact cleaner silicone spray, and that corrected the problem with it not centering. And then I just replaced the analog. And actually, you know what? I could show you guys the analog. Sorry, it's dark. This was it. So this was the piece I had in there. Oops, bad lighting. See, it was kind of chewed up on the edge. And with no pad, it was working, but it was no fun. Okay. So yeah, that worked out well, and this is a type of analog joystick that you would not see on a GameCube controller normally. Look, it's so cool. It's like pleather kind of texture. I don't know what you call that. It's neat though. It grabs your thumb pretty well. It doesn't have obviously the GameCube controllers have this spiral, which I don't know really how much I like that anyway. So this controller came out pretty good. I've been using it for F-Zero GX and it works pretty dang good. Also, this pad is bigger. It's wider than the GameCube analog. I don't know. I like it. So, and then I wanted to remove the GameStop logo, so I just used a Mr. Clean magic eraser for that. And yeah, so that's the story of this controller. Yeah, it came out pretty good. And I'm glad I tried it out, because instead of having 2 broken controllers, now I have one that works, and not only that, it's kind of special. It's kind of customized. So I don't know if just in case anyone didn't know that a lot of these analog sticks, you can switch them. Now, I did have a problem. This what was I trying to do originally? I tried to put a regular GameCube stick on here, and it wouldn't hold to the Switch. The slot on the underside of the GameCube analog stick, there's this hole. Let's see this hole. Let's see. Focus this in for you guys here. So yeah, there's like just a peg that slides in right there, and it wouldn't fit on the GameCube one, but then it fit on the Streamcast one. So yeah, if you get a broken controller and it's not working, there's no harm in opening it up and trying to fix it, or maybe even swapping parts. See if they'll fit, because a lot of times they will. And so with that, we'll kind of move forward to the next part of the video, which is we'll take this guy apart and yeah, I'll show you what I do to, I guess, clean up and refurbish the controller. And we'll also, maybe first we'll give a go at, or well, at some point we'll give a go at the corrosion, seeing if we can actually find out whether my cleaning works. The thing is, though, is I can tell you guys I've been successful correcting that on a couple controllers, so my method is somewhat sound, I would say. So yeah, and we'll get to that. Alright guys, so here we got the 360 controller. I already gave it a wipe down with that all-purpose cleaner, Miss Myers cleaner. It honestly wasn't very dirty, because not only do I take good care of my stuff, but I hardly ever played my Xbox really at all. So okay, so we're gonna open it up. I'm not gonna film every single thing I do, because quite frankly I don't have a tripod or anything like that, but you know, I'm gonna explain what I'm doing. So if we can see, trying to give you guys a shot of the Torx screw. Gosh, the black on black. I wonder if you see it better like this. Well, it's a little black screw. There we go. So that there's 2, 4, 6 of those. So I'm gonna get those out, and then we'll see what we got inside of this. Okay, so I took all the screws out. I got my light on. Yeah, I just realized I can turn my light on. So this is the type of bit you need. It's a Torx tamper proof. You still can't really quite see, but there is a circular peg in between what's like a star head. Anyways, if you look up there you go, Torx tamper free. That's what that is. So yeah, I got those out. So now we'll open her up and see what we got inside there. Okay, quick note on these two. So there's the 6 screws, and then you grab the battery cover off, and you got to peel off the serial number sticker, and there is another same kind of screw right there. Okay guys, so got her open. It's in 2 parts now. So yeah, it comes off pretty easy, and it's nice because all the circuitry stays on one side and your faceplate pretty much comes off. And then, you know, if you want to take out your I don't know what you would call these little touch pads, but these guys will get, that's, you know, you touch the button, it touches the rubber, and then on the back side, this little contact will sometimes get a sort of like a film on it, I guess you could say, to where it gets shiny. I'm trying to see it. This one's probably not honestly too bad, because like I said, yeah, these still look really good. They're not shiny at all. So, but yeah, that pad over time, it'll basically what happens is you'll notice on the pad the impression of the contact point. So like on these pads, it would come out like a shape like that, and it would be all shiny, and it would show the shape on the back of the pad. Anyways, a good way to clean these is just to take, pop that right there, and just take a piece of paper. Like, I like to use a Post-it note. I actually got that idea from another channel, Retro Tech. Anyways, yeah, so you could do that with the pads. You want to be not too tough with it because you don't want to rip. I mean, these, especially if it's an older controller, like this plastic can get kind of brittle. If it was in like a smoking home or anything like that, I noticed there's varying degrees. When I've opened old NES controllers and stuff, there's varying degrees of yellowness and decay on these pads. And I don't know how much it has to do with the use or other conditions like humidity or smoking in the house and all that stuff. But anyway, so that's a good way. You could go in and, you would clean the surface with some, cleaner, whatever you want to use in a Q-tip. But for those, I would just rub it off on some paper and do that on each one until you make sure that there's no shininess on there. And that's the first thing you can do. And then let me go ahead and I'll pull these off. Actually, I'll show you right here. You could just pull them straight off. And let's see. What does this one look like? So yeah, for example, this one would certainly not fit onto that GameCube controller I was using. Here is the switch, analog switch. So essentially, what I would do at this point, like I said, this one's sticking. I don't really see any gunk or anything on here. But I'll probably still take a Q-tip with some 99% alcohol and just move it to each direction and clean along the plastic. Maybe there's a little bit of dirt. But then, after I do that, I'm going to spray some contact cleaner with silicone lube. Clean it and lube it. And that's basically what I do to each one. So let me go ahead and what I'll do is I'm going to take some alcohol and just with a Q-tip, I'm going to clean the contacts with my 99% alcohol that I got from the 1UP card set. And I'll clean off these switches, and then I'll show you guys my method for doing the contact cleaner. Okay guys, so I went ahead and gave all the contacts a clean with some 99% alcohol, isopropyl alcohol, and I went and cleaned inside of the analog switches as well. So now I'm going to go ahead and use my contact cleaner with silicone spray. Take my straw, get this bad boy ready to go. A little shakeroo, and then so what we're going to do, see if we can pull in a little bit here. I'm just going to give it a little spray. Just kind of work it around a bit. So I'll give a little spray, I'll work it around. Work it. And then we'll do it on the other one too. And this won't harm anything. It's obviously just contact cleaner. It's made for electronics. I mean, the silicone, there is a little bit of lubricant, but it's not going to hurt anything. So, okay, so they're all lubed up. And that should fix the problem, but we got to put this thing back together and try to get rid of that corrosion from the battery leakage we had. So that's the next step. Okay, guys, a quick note here. For the motors, your rumble motors, when you're reassembling the controller, you're going to want to do it like this and lay your buttons down and then go ahead and set the rumble motors inside of their cradle right there. Because there's not really another way if you try to just set the top piece down on top of the controller, all your buttons will fall out. So just thought I would mention that. Okay, so we want to try to clean up this corrosion here. I've got some distilled white vinegar. I got some Q-tips. We'll see. Actually, I don't think I've ever tried this before. So we'll see what kind of results we get. Truthfully, I'm not expecting much. Ooh, wow. Look at that. Okay, I'm going to work on this a little more with two hands and see what we get, because it's definitely getting some stuff off there. Okay, be right back. So, just taking another look, that worked pretty well. Like I said, that was the first time. See, you could still see a tad of corrosion, but I think it might be good enough to make contact again. So we'll see how we do, and if necessary, maybe I'll try a toothbrush and baking soda, because that's another method that's supposed to help. But one thing I will mention while I have this open, as a person who's worked with many toys and battery operated devices, you know, I worked at Toys R Us for years in customer service as a manager, and a lot of toys came back where the battery operated toys wouldn't work, and a lot of times, you know, you'll put fresh batteries and it won't work, so the person assumes, oh, it doesn't work. But sometimes these springs will become compressed, and all you've got to do is pull them out just a tad, just to stretch them out a bit so they make contact. I remember actually with this battery pack I had that problem, so that's just a helpful tip for any battery operated device. Sometimes you have to do that, stretch the springs a little and make sure the batteries are making contact. But anyhow, I'm going to go ahead and we're going to get a little vinegar down in there too where we have more corrosion, and then let it dry out and see if we have any luck getting this thing to work, and see if the analog refurbish worked. So let's see what we get. Alright, so I went ahead and cleaned the battery cradle cartridge compartment, I don't know, whatever you want to call it. So let's give it a go. I have my other controller is working. Look, it still has the little plastic power button sticker on there. That shows you how often I play 360. So we'll get this in. I think we'll see what we get. Yeah! So I just realized though, the thing is I didn't show you guys the controller not working. So you'll have to take my word for it. You did see all the corrosion on there. So obviously you could see that there was a ton of corrosion. So the vinegar method for the corrosion worked. Okay, so now let's see about the analog. Let's see, it should be, it's player 2. Okay. I guess I gotta try a game to really make sure, huh? My games. I'm so unfamiliar with these menus, guys, because I never play. Here we go. Let's do Puzzle Bobble Live, because yeah, if the analog is sticking, then his little pointer will just be going all over the place, so it'll be very apparent to us. And I guess, you know, once again, I didn't show you. We don't want to do Xbox Live. So yeah, once again, I didn't show you the joystick not working, but there was no way to do that anyhow, because of the battery corrosion keeping the controller from working. So far so good. I think It seems like it's working. But yeah, if we can just play... Oh, yes, this is the controller. So we'll see. So it looks like it's good. Cool. So yeah, so there you go. We had, so what was wrong with this controller? The analog stick was not centering properly, and it would give false readings one direction or the other. Also, we had corrosion in the battery compartment and on the springs that go, the contacts to the board on the controller. So we did just vinegar. I just used distilled white vinegar, and that did the trick. So there you go. Now, I hope that video was helpful, and I'm trying to create more content, so I'll keep at it, guys. And as always, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you later.